This week, Premier and Ag Minister Kathleen Wynne rolled out a 5-year plan for the Ontario horse racing industry. I looked at it. I'm not as involved in this industry. I'm trying to kind of get up to snuff, but this doesn't look a lot different than the sort of interim, hey, this is what we'll do for now, that rolled out earlier this year. Is this a 5-year plan? Is this enough money? Is this going to work?
Well, Lyndsey, what you do have here is, I mean, it is a 5-year plan, and I guess there's a range of opinion, but I guess the bottom line is it is a 5-year plan. The big question people have is whether there's enough money and whether it is sustainable.
Yeah.
I guess if you just look at the numbers, I mean, they're committing $400 million over 5 years. Now that compares to an industry that was receiving $345 million every year from the slots at racetracks program. So obviously a lot less money. And also what's missing here is any type of implementation plan. Mm-hmm. There's lots of ideas here. How do they get done? When do they get done? And I guess that's the big question. And I guess what's interesting as well is you've gone from a government that had a partnership that started to paint it as a subsidy so they could kill it.
Yeah.
Now they're coming back with a subsidy that they're painting as a partnership to try and sell it.
Right. Oh, now, and to put in perspective how much of a schmozzle this is, and this is very real. This is a huge loss to rural Ontario. We've already looking at least 9,000 jobs lost just in 2012. You sent me just the breeding numbers for 2013 over 2012 for both thoroughbred and standardbred, and we're talking a massive cut to the amount of studs being stood, the amount of mares being bred, and I mean, this is you can't just bring all this back overnight either. But I mean, this is a pretty firm, I think the numbers say thoroughbred studs down like 40-some% really over the year before. Standardbreds, I mean, these are people's livelihoods and their businesses that they've invested in. And a lot has walked out the door and more to come, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at it, I just say, I mean, the consensus is, we lost 9,000 jobs. A lot of people were hanging on at the edge, just waiting for this announcement to see what was going to happen, whether the government would relent and put some more money back in. I think most people think there's going to be a second wave of people now just going to throw it in and go. Yeah. You're talking about and on the front lines have always been the breeders of horses. I mean, if you look at those numbers, I mean, 3 years ago, standardbred mares bred in this province, over 4,000. Mm-hmm. Last year, 2 years later, just over 1,000. 70% of those horses are gone. Thoroughbreds over 1 year from 2012 to 2013, down 43%. So this industry, I mean, the breeding industry is basically gone. And is it beyond repair? A lot of people would say yes. And obviously, the horses are going. The race horses have either gone to the U.S. or been shipped elsewhere. And those jobs are gone. And, who knows?
Yeah. So now, and I think part of this 5-year plan that could hold some promise is this move with the OLG, who last year they were your enemy and this year they're supposed to be your best friend, as you said. But that sort of looks like the one area where there may be a significant chance to maybe get some funds and get some money flowing through this. But as you said, there's no timeline, there's no real structure on who's going to do what and when. So how do you see that working? Like, is this where the horsemen need to sort of focus and say, this is what we need?
Well, I mean, there's a big opportunity here. I mean, in a perfect world, there's an opportunity to bring horse racing back to the consuming public, to put a lottery together that would put a horse race next to the NHL Pro line at every corner store where OLG has, a booth. Tremendous opportunities. The challenge is, will it happen and when will it happen? The head of the OLG basically said last week that they're going to bring about their new plan in 2017, 2018. That's 4 years from now. If they wait that long, this is over. That's done. The other challenge is, as you said, I mean, the OLG was trying to kill horse racing last year.
Right.
Premier Wynne basically said, hey, take that industry out of the gutter and put it back in your plan. So these are our the industry's new best friends, and there's not trust here.
And where do we sit with the casino? I mean, a Toronto casino is not going to happen. So these slots need to live somewhere, and that's going to be at the racetracks. And so, I mean, the viability of the racetracks is intricately tied to this. So what happens there?
Well, what happens here is, Torontonians and Ontarians have rejected casinos. Mm-hmm. These slots really are going to stay at these racetracks. So what you have now, basically, here's your picture. You have a government that's keeping all the money. I mean, they used to get $1 billion a year. Well, now they're keeping the 20% or a vast majority of that used to go to the horse racing industry. The racetracks are in business with the government, right? They cut a deal, so they're doing all right. On the outside are all the horsemen and women in the horse industry that are standing outside these racetracks going, this is what I used to do. Jobs are going away. The industry is crumbling. And what about these racehorses and these horses? Well, some of them have found new life and new racing opportunities in the U.S. And the rest of them, what happened to all those mares? They're gone to slaughter.
Yeah.
Pretty grim picture. Pretty grim picture.
Yeah. And so really, I mean, this is, I mean, I really certainly feel that if there's that opportunity within OLG to set up new products and make up the shortfall of this $400 million over 5 years instead of each year, that has to happen really quickly because, as you said, I mean, you can't just. Horses have an 11-month gestation. They don't hit the track till they're 2, sometimes 3, and later. This is a 4-year process. So as the breeding industry shrinks, if we're going to turn it around and keep people interested and invested, and it has to happen ASAP because already this contraction has happened. If people are going to start investing again or sticking with it, never mind investing, just sticking with it, I think, the horsemen and women need a better plan with some specifics because this 5-year plan doesn't look like much. That's for sure. Yeah,
well, it needs meat on the bones, and it needs to get cooked pretty quickly.
Yeah. So we shall see. Okay, well, thank you so much, Bern, for your insight. We'll definitely keep tabs.
Talk soon.